start with, you'll need your Glock Armorer's tool or a 330 seconds punch. That's all the Glock Armorer's tool is. You'll need to start by making sure the magazine's out of the gun. Check the chamber, double check it, make sure it's unloaded, point it in a safe direction, press the trigger. Now from here, you'll want to take the gun this way, in your hand, pull it back about 1/4 of an inch, it doesn't take much. Reach up under here, pull your slide lock lever down, there's a little button on each side right here, some people call them the takedown lever. You'll pull this down on both sides, slide the slide off of it. Okay. All right, we've got the slide off there. We're going to set the slide, the frame aside for a minute. You're going to take your recoil spring. What I do is point the muzzle towards me. It works best for me. It may not work for you, but I put this towards me. Take my finger on the recoil spring, relieve the tension just a little bit. Set that aside. Lift the barrel up and out of the gun, and that is all there is to field stripping the gun. To put it back together, after you've lubed it, cleaned it, whatever you need to do to it, set your barrel back in, push it forward, make sure it's seated all the way. Make sure the little button end of this, not the wider flat flange end, the little round button is going to be forward to go through this hole here. And if you look in the slide right here, I mean in the barrel, right here in this locking lug here is a little curved, little recess place right there. That's where the spring is going to set. So just put that all the way down like that. Make sure your trigger is still pulled on the gun. Line your slide and slide rails up there. Pull it back and release it. That's all there is to it. You're done. Okay. Let's detail strip it. Let's go down to the last thing. Make sure your chamber is clear. Point the gun in a safe direction. Press the trigger. Pull your slide locks down. Take the slide off. Let's put the frame aside for now. Take the spring out. Barrel. Set those aside. We don't need those for the time being. The next thing we're going to do is we got to take this inspection plate, or this slide cover plate off here. So your firing pin, your striker, needs to be in the up position, be towards the rear. It's up the way I'm holding the slide. You want to put your thumb over this slide plate. There's a spring under here, so you want to hold your thumb on this. Don't take it off for a minute. If you look up underneath here, underneath this little boot heel of your striker, you'll see a little black plastic deal sticking up right there. You want to push that down all the way. It's pretty stiff. Hold your thumb up here. Push that down all the way. Push the slide plate forward. As soon as that unlocks, you can take this out. Take the slide plate off. This pressure's off of this spring now. It's safe. Alright, take that off. Lift sometimes your liner will come out with it, sometimes it won't. It's not a big deal. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Take your firing pin, your striker assembly out. Lay it to the side. You've got a take this rod and spring out. Remember how you took that out of there? Now you want to press your firing pin, this plunger down here, and wiggle that extractor just a little bit. Take it out. Take the plunger and spring out. And that's everything that there is in this except for the sights. The slide's all finished. Okay. Let's put this part of it back together, and we'll set it aside and then do the frame. Okay, let's set your extractor back in there. Your little plunger. Set it in. Push it all the way down. Hold it down with your finger. When you put this plunger back in, you have a plastic end up here, the spring-loaded bearing, and a metal end. In the Glock, when you're putting it back together, it's always metal to metal, plastic to plastic. So you're going to put this back in here this way, because this plastic will be against this plastic. Okay? Push that in. That's going to hold the rest of this stuff in here. Now, I didn't show you how to take this part. Let's do this real quick. This is the striker assembly. Take your slide, stand it down here, muzzle down. Set this in the same hole that it came out of, only upside down. Take your spring, push this down a little bit. Take your cups off of here, your striker cups off of there. Easy up on the spring so it don't hit you in the eye. Actually, it's not a bad idea to wear glasses, safety glasses while you're doing this. Pull your spring off, take the striker out. That's all there is to it. Put it back together. You've got a slot in here. You want to put that back in this way. Set this back in here for now. Set the spring in. Hold the spring down. Take 1/2 of the cup. Set in there. Set the other half in. Ease that up against there. And that's complete. Do not put any lubrication of any description on here. If you feel like you absolutely must for some reason, use powdered graphite or something. Don't use anything liquid in here. No oil, no grease, no nothing. Alright, set that back in here. And when you go to put your plate, we forgot our liner here. When you put the channel liner back in, you'll notice that one end of this, you probably won't be able to see it in the video, but one end of this is slightly tapered. A little bit of bevel on one end. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the other end is square and flat. You want to take the beveled end and stick it in there first. Be gentle with it. Take your punch and just push that down until it stops. It don't matter where it stops because the striker is going to push it the rest of the way in. Take this in, don't force it, use no force, no violence whatsoever any point during this. If it won't go easy, something's wrong. Okay, we've got our striker back in there. Whoops. Put our plunger and spring back in. So striker in. Alright, everything's held in place there now. Stand this muzzle down. Take your fingertip or your punch. If you don't have some nails to do this, you can take that punch and push it down. Start your plate in here. As soon as it covers up the part that was where the striker was, you can take that off of there. Now what we're going to do, we're going to need to push the spring-loaded bearing. We're going to push that in. Slide the cap, the plate right back over it. That's everything you need to do this. It's all complete. Now let's take your frame apart here. You want to take on 3-pin guns. All your 2.5, 3, and 4 generation guns are going to have 3 pins. You're going to have the locking block pin here. I'm going to push it out first. That's the first one to go out, first one to go back in. Take that out, set it aside. Go ahead and take your back mainspring, trigger housing pin out. Set it aside. Now on this pin here, this is the one that goes through the trigger. There's little notches in here that locks in with your slide release here, your slide release lever. So what I usually do is I'm going to hold it this way because I'm going to need to move this a little bit back and forth so that I can push this out. So I'm going to wiggle that slide release lever this way. As soon as that finds the right place, then that'll start to push out. As soon as that starts, just go ahead and push it on out. Set it aside. Lift your slide release lever out. Take your punch, stick right under the locking block right here. Pry that out. Lift your trigger bar out. Now there's nothing left in here except your slide lock lever and the magazine, the magazine catch. So to take this slide release lever or slide lock lever out, look right in the bottom of the frame right here, there's a spring. See this long slot right here? Okay, we're going to push the forward edge of this spring down and then just kind of wiggle that a little bit and here your slide lock lever comes out.